In this video, I'm really pleased to be testing a Mitsubishi Evo. No, wait. No, what we actually have here is a very rare Mitsubishi Lancer MX Touring. It's from 1997. It's a Japanese import that has come here in phases. It had a life in Cyprus and then it came to this area in Wales probably around 2007, I think. So it's been over here a fair while, but it's a lovely looking car in great condition. So the Mitsubishi Lancer, this is the 7th generation. It is a saloon. I've driven the 1st generation. If you go and watch my video from New Zealand, it was a rally spec early Lancer I drove. Wonderful car, and that sort of kept on going all the way through. I think it was the 3rd or 4th generation was what became the Proton, but of course this shape of Lancer is more famously known for the Evo versions that packed a mighty turbocharged 4-cylinder engine up front and had 4-wheel drive, very common in the world of rallying. This version of Lancer, this 7th generation, had the Evo 4, 5 and 6, the latter available as the Tommy Mackinnon edition. Absolutely legendary. So these were very, very famous in the world of rallying and performance. But of course this is HubNut. We don't really want to drive an Evo. That's too much power. We don't need 280 odd brake horsepower, whatever it was. They had a gentleman's agreement, but they didn't say what the power was. They said, oh, it's definitely not more than 280. This is much more us. So let's see what this is packing under the bonnet. So under the bonnet we find not a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, but we still do have twin overhead camshafts and 16 valves. So there's a 1.5 litre engine and it produces a healthy 109 brake horsepower, so that's pretty decent. Gearbox is a bit unknown. I think it's a CVT, although there's an ATF fluid thing there, so maybe it isn't. I think some of these were available with a CVT, a continuously variable transmission. Some were available conventional auto, and of course you could have had a manual as well, but Japanese market tended to favour 2-pedal driving systems. But plenty of space to work on it, because I guess they had to have an engine bay big enough for that whopping great turbo. So this generation of Lancer, in fact the 3rd through to the 7th generation of Lancers, were heavily based on the Colt, the 3-door family car. So this is where it all differs, really. We've still got a spoiler on the back, because frankly a Lancer without a spoiler looks a bit weird, but surprisingly practical. Very, very large boot going on here, so there's a decent amount of space. You can easily fit a YouTuber's backpack in and still have lots of room elsewhere. So jumping aboard the Lancer, the first thing that strikes me is how much nicer it is in here than an Evo. Evo is very stripped out, very basic things, but if you look here, we've got wood trim. It might be plastic, but it looks quite nice. And digital climate control. I didn't expect that in a car from 1997, but you know, the Japanese do love their technology. Even the dial set looks somehow much nicer than the Evos. The Evos, very plain and quite cheap looking. So I think that's quite nice. You see we've got powerful door mirrors. We've got an aftermarket fog light switch, which I think has been let in very nicely, because this is Japanese, which of course means indicators right, for it is Japanese market. But electric windows as well. We've got, what's this? Ooh, a little cubby just there. Are you playing with cubbies over here? One. What did you find? Ooh!
And I'm assuming that's for coins.
Yeah, that would be for your coins.
And I haven't opened that. I don't think it's going to be the illustrator.
I think that's just going to be...
It's going to be an ashtray.
Yeah. But what have we got in the glove box?
Oh, let's have a look. Oh, nice deep.
Oh, very, very nice. And we got a cassette player as well, which is the most modern looking cassette player I think I've ever seen in my life. Jumping into the back, we are reminded it is a smaller car. It isn't like Mondeo or Vectra size, and it's a bit tight for knee room for my bare knees. I'll spare you the sight of those, but still got an armrest here, so it's quite a nice place to sit. I've got something approaching a head restraint, but plenty of headroom. So for a compact saloon, I don't think it's too bad here at all. Right then, let's fire up the beast. Yeah, beastie. A pretty smooth 4-cylinder engine. We've discovered the aircon works. That works very well indeed. That gets very, very cold. But you probably want to know about the windscreen wipers, so I shall test them forthwith. And yeah, a bit like the Subaru Impreza, which is of course a close rival. Not quite wiping to the edge of the screen up here, the very, very slight triangle of doom. And is there a mist function? Oh yeah, there it is. You can get a mist if you just pull slightly on the stalk. That's good. But yeah, we shall set about, let's just, actually before that, we better do an indicator test. That's a weird indicator noise. Maybe it's just me, it just sounds very clanky. Into drive we go, and check the old blind spot. Stop laughing. It's because I failed my driving test recently. And yeah, one of the things I find most amusing is that we've got the indicator, there we go, it's just pinged up to second to tell me I'm in second gear. It actually acts slightly ahead of the gear change itself. So I'll go back down to 1 in a moment, presumably. Yeah, there we go, funk. Back into first. Oh, eager getaway. Yeah, that is a conventional automatic. We're into third. And into fourth. Yeah, that is weird. It almost predicts the gear change. The light changes before the gear actually catches up. Certainly, I was going to say very smooth, but then we clunked back into first gear again. That gear change is a bit funky. Maybe it'll calm down a bit once we get on the move. We've got 144,000 on the clock, but I assume that's kilometers, and I'm now desperately trying to remember what that would be in miles. About 90,000 miles, I think. Yeah, it's a bit of exhaust boom actually, just these gentle speeds, but we'll get some temperature into her and then we can really unleash the beast. And that is a key difference with the Evo. The Evo is a bit of a struggle to try and unleash the beast on public roads, looking like an absolute lunatic and breaking speed limits very, very quickly indeed. Sorry, I just got distracted. I just saw a Citroen Ami 8 on that driveway. Ooh. We've got wind deflectors creating a little bit of noise, so that's designed so you can have the window open just a bit and get a bit of ventilation without getting rained on. I think this speedometer has been reprogrammed. I think it's got an electric converter in it, because we are definitely doing more than 60 kilometers an hour at the moment. It feels like we're approaching 60 miles an hour, so yeah, we've got a converter there at play, so that means the total mileage is probably a mixture of miles and kilometers. Yeah, we're doing just below 3,000 revs at 60 miles an hour. It feels quite relaxing. Just feels fairly unremarkable, and that's worth remembering that both the Evo and the Impreza WRX were based on really rather ordinary cars, but the Japanese engineers managed to turn them into extraordinary powerhouses for dominating the world of rallying. These were glory times with Mitsubishi and Subaru battling it at the top for honours in the World Rally Championship. But this feels quite a long way from it. And if you want a car for the road, that's probably a good thing. Oh, we started going downhill, so she's just downshifted back to third. A little peculiar. I don't really understand the MX Touring spec. I'm not sure what it was meant to be to European tastes. But with a spoiler and that downshifting, maybe it is meant to be a little more sporty than a standard Lancer. The steering actually feels quite nice. The ride is a little firm for my tastes, but not crashy. So it's a very pleasant car to drive. Good visibility, nice door mirrors. Being typically Japanese at just being good at doing the thing a car needs to be good at doing. A car turning in front of us, so we'll get a bit of a kick down opportunity here. Clear road ahead, floor it. Oh yeah, feel that power. Oh, actually, all the way to 6,000 revs. Noisy, not especially brisk, but it's enough for getting about on the road. This probably isn't the one to buy if you want to do a track day though. That said, I have had a lot of fun in a 1.5 Japanese car around Silverstone before now, so never say never. Yeah, the steering has a tightness to it a firmness, a slightly hard feeling to the steering. It actually feels very direct and accurate. That's quite nice. Oh yeah, pitching it into this bend, and yeah, very, very nice. It corners pretty flat. This is actually a much nicer drive than I expected. When you look at the spec on paper, a 1.5 automatic, it sounds like maximum misery, but this is actually feeling really rather pleasant. I will say the seats are a little firm, and that is, again, I keep making Impreza comparisons, but having driven quite a long distance in a Subaru Impreza, the seats were not my favourite. And to be fair, my 1.5 Mazda also a bit lacking in support generally in the seat. Just feels a bit hard and a bit unyielding. Let's go a bit Tiptronic, shall we? Oh yeah, it responds nice and quickly. Never fully understood the point of these things, but there are times when you're cornering on a quicker road, you just want to be able to just pin it back in a gear and hold it in that gear as well. Probably just not for general driving, just leave it in D. Drives nicely, there are no rattles going on because it's Japanese and it's actually built properly. This looks like a nice buy for someone, and like I say, it is actually for sale. It's a young lad who was he's known this car most of his life, and he took it on after an MOT failure, has done welding to it, a bit of a mechanical refresh, new dampers all round, and it is now for sale for £3,500. So you can either find the car for sale on the Retro Rides forum, I do like the Retro Rides people, or if you email me, ian@hubnut.org, I can pass on serious inquiries. Yeah, this is the only automatic I've driven, I think, that actually shows you what gear it's in. Which I suppose is quite handy when you're doing the old Tiptronic style. Just because we can't help ourselves, we're doing an acceleration test from behind a Suzuki Super Carry. Or, sorry, just a Carry by this stage. But here we go. You can almost get to 60 in second. So it's not geared for pace. So the acceleration itself feels quite gentle, but nonetheless it does build up speed quite merrily. So there we go. That was the very, very much non-Evo Mitsubishi Lancer, and a tiny little dog. Hello, little dog. We have been invaded. But yeah, a very, very likeable package. That's a surprisingly nice drive. Much more get up and go than perhaps I expected, because you're expecting the Evo kick, and it doesn't do that, but it does get on very well indeed, and apparently smells very nice. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can head to the HubNut store if you want to support what we do. Store will be offline for the next few weeks thinking about it, and I'll see you in a future video. Hi! Farewell.